Hello and welcome to this webinar for Project Order. Project Order is used for sale of services. It enables a planner to administer planned work by adding hours, materials, and costs. Operators can pick material and log hours. There are 3 phases of a project order. The first phase is defining the scope of work, which means setting dates, creating quotes and sales orders, adding estimated hours, materials, and costs. Then you commence with the actual work, where the operator can log hours and pick material. Changes to cost, hours, material quantity, and which material is being used can be made along the way, making it a flexible tool. Follow-up and completion entails first ensuring that the hours worked are approved and accrued, and that the materials used are consumed so that they are included in the basis for the invoicing. Invoicing can be spread out over multiple invoices before the order is complete, or it can be invoiced all at once at the end. The way you invoice the order also differs according to which type of project order it is. A project order can be based on a fixed price, where an invoice plan can be set up in the app for invoicing project orders. An order can also be based on accrued time and material, where the invoice is based on logged hours, consumed materials, and added costs. The invoices here are not created through an invoice plan, but you can manually make invoices at any point in time, provided you have accrued costs. Both types of orders can be internal ones, used for research and development, for example. On a project order, you can add items for man-hours, materials, and expenses. And when the work starts, the operators can log hours and pick material, and should they throughout the process find out that they need more material, more quantity can be added. So, any necessary changes can be made in the project order to accommodate any unforeseen changes or new requests from the customer. This can include new costs, more material, and new material. For a project order based on time and material, the billing basis will be updated according to the changes made. Invoices can be issued manually, or they can be sent out through an invoice plan, where you can invoice throughout the process based on milestones reached, provided the order is based on a fixed price. With this release, 2 new article types are added. Project order is for selling the project order itself, while work hours are for logging man-hours on a project order.
Here we are in Rambase. To go to pod, type POD in the program field and hit enter. Now let's pretend we have gotten a request from the customer for an inspection and a service of some hydraulic pumps. Press Create New Project Order. Here I can set the name of the order. Decide whether the order should follow a fixed price model or one based on accrued time and material. If it is for internal work, for example a development project, check off for internal. If not, select a customer and location in the lookup. And press Create. I chose a project order based on time and material, so that means the invoice or invoices will be based on approved hours, consumed material, supplier invoice or supplier credit note, or manually entered cost/income for expenses. I press Create New Item, and with the Hours button selected, I add the articles I have defined for project order work hours. This job consists of an inspection and a service, so I add the work hour articles for both. With the Material button selected, I add the material that is planned for use, and I specify estimated quantity for this job. If there are any expenses we know about in advance, travel expenses, overtime food, and so on, we can also choose to add those here. I add a line for travel expenses. I set estimated start and completion date. And once all estimated time, material, and expenses are added, I seal the order temporarily by using the context menu item Seal Project Order Temporary. Then I select Create Sales Quote. In the product lookup, I select the product with the type equals to WP, created for this type of project order. Once here, I register and send the sales quote. And the project order has now gotten a reference to the quote, and this link updates when I now forward the quote to a sales order. I go back to the project order and register. You could also start this process the other way around by adding the article with a special type to a sales quote, and when you register the quote, the project order will automatically be created. Now, let's jump to when the scheduled work is starting. I have changed roles, so instead of a planner, I am now an inspector. Since this part of the job consists of doing an inspection, I won't be using any material. I will just log hours. To log hours, I choose to head into the item level of my work hour article, and I enter the work log tab. I select day and time started and ended. I select work hour type and labor cost. And I choose to add a note to specify something about the worked hours. The hours are in status 2, and as you can see, the estimated hours are under remaining estimate in the cost overview. If I now approve my own hours so that they are ready for approval by the manager, they go to status 3, and the hours are moved from remaining estimate to pending. The articles for project order work hours are to be linked to what is called a labor group. For example, my article service operator is linked to a group called operator, which is composed of different hourly rates for operators. This could be a regular rate, a 50% overtime rate, and a 100% overtime rate. For example, when I go to log hours, I have to select which rate to apply. How to set this up is covered in the documentation on our help page. Now that the inspection is done and the hours are logged, I can continue. Now I perform work related to the service after the inspection. And to perform the rest of the work, I will need material, so I will have to pick it. I go to the item level of the article I wish to pick. In the column here called Assignment Status, I see that the assignment is in status 8, which means that all quantity on the line is linked towards stock and can be picked. I have the following company setting activated, which means that the line automatically gets assigned towards stock when registered, provided you have sufficient quantity. If I had that setting turned off, I would have had to use the context menu item Get Material Assignments to create a stock assignment register document for the order line. So far, the quantity is under pending in the cost overview. I select Initialize Picking for Item. Then I select Pick Project Order Item. And once here, I select Pick All. Now I can go back. As an operator, I do not press Confirm Consumption of Picked Material. That is for the planner to do ahead of invoicing. And that is when the quantity will go from pending to accrued. Should I now discover that I need more material, I can open the line for editing, update the remaining estimated quantity, and press Save. I now press the context menu item Update Quantities for Material Assignments, and then I can pick the newly added quantity. It is also possible to connect the project order lines to a specific product unit or LCM. If this work was performed on a specific product, it would be useful to see if the product has any previous history in Rambase, or to record actions for future reference. To record these actions, I can connect the project order lines to a specific product unit. So, for example, if these oil filters were used on 2 or 3 different pumps, I could head to the item level on the order, select the Product Units tab, press Add New Product Unit, look up the product unit by searching for the serial number, and press Create. Now I have a link to the product unit. I could enter it and go to the tab called Project Orders to see the recorded actions for this specific unit. I go to the item for Service Operator, and I can log my hours here as well and approve them. From the main level, I have an overview over total amount invoiced, accrued cost, gross margin, and hours accrued. I also have this progress bar here, which I can move according to my estimation of the progress. This is just a visual display of my estimation. There is no functionality behind it. Now I have switched roles once more, and I am the planner again. I will now invoice this project order, and in advance of invoicing, there is a pre-process that has to be done by the planner. This entails ensuring that the worked hours on the order have been approved and that the materials used have been confirmed, consumed, and accrued. I start with going to the work log to approve the worked hours so that they are in status 4. This moves the hours from pending to accrued in the cost view. Then I go to the line for the material used. Then select the context menu item Confirm Consumption of Picked Material. The assignment status is now 9, which means that this line is completely processed and I can't get the quantity back into stock unless I create a customer deviation process. The line itself goes to status 8, which means that it is ready for invoicing. Since my Class X article is a traveling expense, no relevant pending or accrued cost is found in Rambase. So I check off for enable manual editing of accrued, and now I can edit accrued cost based on what the travel expense was manually. The pre-process is now done, and I can recalculate cost and sales just to make sure that everything is updated before invoicing. After that, I press Project Order is ready for final billing in the context menu. To invoice the project order, I can write POP in the program field and hit enter. This takes me to the app Project Orders Pending Invoicing, and I can look up the order I wish to invoice. Or I can click the $ up here to change applications and find my order immediately. In the Items tab, I select all items on the page through multi-select. Then I select Invoice Selected Items in the context menu and forward the items to a new invoice and register it. If I now go back, I no longer have any items here. But in the Billing tab, I have the invoice created for this project order. I navigate back to the project order by pressing the list icon. As you can see, the key figures have been updated, and it shows how much I have invoiced. I select Complete Project Order in the context menu. This processes and completes the sales order for the project order, along with the project order itself. Whether the order is based on a fixed price or time and material, a project order can be invoiced at any time in the process, provided you have accrued costs. The use of the date filter in the application, however, will limit the result to only list project orders that have a billing basis that has accrued before this date. When you select a project order item for material or expenses, it will be checked if there is any billing basis that has been accrued before the filtered date. If that is the case and there is no revenue left as remaining estimated or pending, all billing basis for this project order item will be invoiced. If there is revenue left as remaining estimated or pending, no invoice will be created for this project order item at all. We have seen how the invoicing looks from a project order based on time and material, but if I had a project order based on a fixed price, the invoicing process would be a little bit different as you create an invoice plan and invoice from there. E-learning material and more videos will be made for this, as well as other scenarios relevant to project orders.